Hello, my name is Dr. Chris Ogedebe. I'm your host here on Single and Sound, Married and Blessed. Single and Sound, Married and Blessed. And today we're going to be having a great topic to do with relationships, basically to do with how to invest time in your marriage. But whilst we're waiting for others to join us, please do share this broadcast and invite your friends as we enjoy a song by Humble Smith called Osinachi, featuring Davido. Osinachi, okay, listen. It's a good season. We're coming up to Christmas. We just want to appreciate every one of you who's been supporting us throughout this year. And since we started, we really do appreciate you, and we say a very big thank you. May God bless you. Every member of this platform, a lot of you have shared, a lot of you have encouraged us, a lot of you have been blessed in numerous ways, and you've allowed us to understand the fact that the program has really been a blessing to you. God bless you. Hey, let's go straight to the matter of the day. God bless you. Okay, today we're going to be looking at investing time into your marriage. That's going to be our topic today, because you see, time and communication are the currencies of a great relationship. And I have come to understand that the reason so many fail is because of the fact that couples just don't spend enough time together. The moment we start to deal with this and start to really correct this error, we'll see a lot of changes, positive changes in our relationships. Because if you fail to invest time in your marriage, you can reap that dividends of peace, of joy, of love, you can, of oneness, of togetherness, of intimacy. Because to be intimate, even you have to really spend time together. So time that's fruitfully spent together with your spouse is an investment. It's not a waste. It's a seed that you sow into the future. It binds you together and it bonds you together. So and it's so important that we do spend time together as spouses, as husband and wife. And why is it important? The reason is because when we spend time together, it propels the intimacy in marriage, it encourages it, and without being together, you can be intimate. Nobody can be intimate without being together. It's just like, saying that, that's why I talk about, personal relationship with God means intimacy with God. If you're not intimate with God, you just can, how can you be a friend of someone, of God, if you're not intimate? And the same thing in really marital relationship, you understand? So when you spend time together, it propels intimacy, and so you become intimate with your spouse. Also, the reason why we have to spend time together is because it gives room for understanding each other. So we get to understand each other. You get to understand your husband, your husband gets to understand you. You get to know that person's mind. You get to know their mind. You get to know their they get to talk to you about certain things. So you get to know their person, you get to know who they are. Because you see, marriage is two people coming together from different backgrounds, and so we have been raised in different backgrounds. And so when we come together, we've got to spend time together to know that person intimately. So it fosters intimacy. And also, it gives room for understanding, so that we get to understand one another. Also, when we spend time together, it helps to build trust. It helps to build trust. It helps to build unity. It eliminates suspicion. When we have spent time together, it builds intimacy. It eliminates suspicion. You understand? So we need to spend time, you know, and also it nurtures love. It's not just love. When we spend time together, it not just love. It encourages romance as well. So it's like, you know, you're spending time with your spouse, you get to, you know, hold their hands, you get to wrap on them, you get to hold them, you get to cuddle them, you get to lay your sort of like maybe your head on you know, on their you know, laps, on their shoulders. You know, it's fun, it's sweet, and before you know it, you become, you know, romantically involved with that person. And you know, there's something you know, it does to you, where you feel confidence, you feel loved, you feel accepted. You know, you feel like, you know, that person is for you, and that person is hearing you, is hearing your heart, you know, is hearing you out. And you know, when things are so messed up out there, there's that person you can come to and be intimate with. And you know, you get to hug together. So it aids communication as well, because you know, you start to talk to the person, you know, it talks to you, you talk, you know, you communicate, you sometimes you gossip together. You understand? Yeah. You know, when you're spending time, when I say gossip together, I'm talking about healthy gossip, as in like, you know, maybe sometimes you even gossip your kids. You know, you say, oh, this one did this one did that, you know, or maybe, you know, when you talk about maybe when you were young, what you used to do, how you used to get away with murders, as in like, you know, things, you know, privileges that you enjoyed being raised by your parents, or things that you were not even allowed to do, how you were disciplined. So you get to talk, it aids communication, you get to, you know, you unwind with it. Actually, you unwind with it, you're with that person, you know, you unwind with this, you know, the stress of life, you know, it's as if it gets taken off of your shoulder when you're able to pour out to somebody, you know, and somebody that you love in particular and especially. You understand? So spending time together, it's communication. Another thing it does when you spend time together is that it helps to meet emotional needs. You understand? You get to meet your partner's emotional need, they get to meet your need as well. So it's, you know, you don't suffer alone. There's no room for loneliness, there's no room for depression, there's no room for, you know, feeling sad. When you with the person you love, it eliminates all of that. You know, it eliminates all of that, because you see, I've come to realize that depression is as a result of loneliness as well. Because you know, when you are hanging out with someone and you're relating with someone and you're spending time with someone and you're talking with someone, you're communicating with someone, you don't get to be depressed. Depression it happens when somebody is attacked when they're alone. The mind is attacked. The mind is, you know, sabotaged by the adversary, by the enemy. So the enemy comes in, loading in on condemnation and, you know, and whatnot. Starts to tell you you're not worth it, you're useless, you're worthless, you're hopeless, you can't cope. You know, it's too much for you. The world doesn't need you, doesn't like you. So depression sets in when you're alone. When you're alone. So when you spend time with your spouse, when you spend time with someone that you love, you honestly, it deals with depression. It gets rid of depression. Because depression doesn't catch on you when you are actually fellowshipping. That's why I actually am a great fan of you know, the fact that we should be fellowshipping with one another. We should be in church. We should be in church, because when you're in church, you get to worship, you get to relate to people, you get to talk to people. The atmosphere is amazing. You understand? The atmosphere is therapeutic. Whereas if you're on your own and you're alone, you know, you're constantly barraged and sabotaged by the devil, who doesn't like you in the first place anyway. He makes everyone a champion but you. You know, he comes to tell you you're good for nothing and all of that. So, you know, we need to spend time with our spouses. We need to spend time with our spouses. And so please, it helps and aids our communication. and it meets our emotional need. And when your emotional need is met, it takes care of depression and all that. I'm trying to, and even suicidal thoughts. So you don't get to have all these negative thoughts, that's constantly coming at you and telling you life is not worth living. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Don't let the devil tell you that life is not worth living. Life is worth living, and you need to live it to the fullest and enjoy yourself with the person that God has blessed you with. Life should not be all about what you call it. Sorry, there's something in there that's disturbing me there. Life should not be about fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. No. When are you going to enjoy your life if you keep fighting with that person? So please, when you spend time together, you get to meet your emotion. It meets your emotional need. Your partner meets your emotional need. You meet the emotional need. Also, when you spend time together, another benefit of it is that it eliminates that third party, and it guards against adultery. It guards against adultery. You see, adultery, people fall into adultery also as a result of somebody else meeting their emotional needs. Somebody else is meeting their emotional needs, so they fall for the person. It's not that the person is better than their spouse. It's not that the person is more beautiful or can give them sexually what their spouse cannot give them. No, oftentimes it's not that. Oftentimes it's to do with their emotion, and it maybe they've poured out to the person, or maybe the person could see that they were fragile, in their most fragile state. They're basically what is it, counseling them, and telling them, oh, we'll be well, you are this, you shouldn't be going through that, and all of that. And so they start to feel towards that other person because that person is meeting their emotional needs. But when you spend time with your spouse, your own husband, your own wife, you eliminate that, you avoid that, you get to guard against adultery. You understand? So another thing spending time together with your spouse does is that it helps to build a stronger marriage. It helps to bring a stronger marriage. So because you get to miss the person when they're not around. Maybe even the person is at work, you find yourself texting them or calling them and saying, how are you? I was just missing you. I just thought I'll say hello to you. So it builds a stronger marriage. You understand? A very great man of God says that, Bishop Yekwe says that he doesn't travel anywhere without his wife. And I really, honestly, that's amazing. He says he goes, whenever he travels, he goes with his wife. Wherever he goes, especially now in ministry, now that all of the children have grown up and become their own, and they're standing on their own, that even before then, that he was making sure that he went everywhere with his wife. You understand? So, and because you can it's been said that couples who work together, they actually last in marriage. Yeah, so, the statistic has proved that couples who work together, who spend time together, that they actually last in marriage, that they have a long-lasting marriage. Because when you spend time together with somebody, it builds a stronger bond between the two of you. It builds a very strong bond between you. You understand? Because you start to miss the person when they're not around, because you want to be with them. If you try it, even those with animals, when if you're living alone and you have a dog or you have a cat or whatever, what sort of animals, you miss that animal when you're not around, or when you travel and they're not with you, or they're not home, or they're in the hospital, in the veterinary, you miss them. So talk less of a whole human being. So as a human being, when you spend time with another human being, you actually do miss them. So it helps to build a stronger bond between the two of you. Now, what are the things that can act as enemies against spending time together? What are the things that can act as enemies against spending time together? Number one thing I will put on the list is the jobs that we do, the type of jobs that we do, jobs that will keep us occupied. Like yesterday, I was discussing with a friend who is also is in healthcare, and she's actually a nurse, a senior nurse, anyway, and that as she was talking about how tough it is for them. A lot of them can't keep down the marriage because of their shift work, that they do shift, and because of that, it affects their homes, it affects their marriages, it affects their relationship with their children. Sometimes they're on day, sometimes they're light, sometimes they're on long hours. Just about a couple of months ago, a very pretty 35-year-old lady here in UK committed suicide because the workload was too much. She was working long hours. I would really, if this can get to the government, I've always thought this way, that look, in order to stabilize and to make the healthcare, and it's fun to work there, and it's amazing. People in healthcare have great professions, and they enjoy what they do. But if it can be that they could have a schedule of work in place where such that those who want to do, like for instance, midweek, Monday to Friday, maybe 8 to 5 or whatever, and those who want to do what do you call it, 5 to whatever, and then they have that kind of a shift system where people pick what they want to do, so that it's consistent, and those who want to do night can be put on night, those who want to do day can be put on day, so that at least they can revolve their lives around what they already know is stabilized hours of work, so that way their family they can plan their whole family, their child rearing, and their husband's life around their own shift, so that it's not different shifts, different times, or sometimes they get it a month in advance and all of that. So people will pick their own hours, you understand, and then those who don't want to do full time, if they want to work weekend, those ones are given weekends to work. And so to me, I just feel that's an idea. But what are we saying? These things affect our relationships, affect our time together, the types of job that we do. If a job is keeping you away from home, keeping you occupied through the day or part of the night, and weekends at times consuming and I watched it was on Gifty, the Ghanaian talk show lady, where some women were brought on the show, and these were women who were doing, what's that cabin thing called, the cab, the mini cab, the online mini cab booking, you understand. And they were doing it, and so a particular lady, she's a nurse. She would do nursing work during the day, and in the night she would go and do Uber. She would go and do Uber work. And she has children, and I'm like, no, that's too much. They were hailed as super women, and obviously I hail them and I celebrate them, because rather than go and be messing up, which a lot of some women do, they go and sleep around and take money from men. They are not doing that. They are working their ass out to feed their family. But that would affect your relationship. That will affect your marriage. That will affect, relationship with your children, because you're not there to raise them. You're at work in the day, you're at work in the night. She only sleeps about a few hours, and then she's up again. I celebrate them and I salute them, and obviously, God bless you for all you do. But those are the, somehow I pray God, gives them a way out and provides something better for them. But if a job is keeping you away from home all hours, and you're not able to have time for your spouse, for your family, then it becomes a problem. It becomes an issue. You understand? So maybe you want to look at that and schedule something else. If it, like I said, that lady could have just stopped working. Everything was just too much for her. That nurse, who took her life. You understand? So please, it can cause a rift between couples when your job is taking you away. Another thing that can affect timing, you spending time together with your spouse, is television or social media. We talked about social media at length last week, how it's actually affecting relationships. So you can go back and watch our video for last week and the week before, and you find there parts one and two, the danger of social media and cell phone addictions. So television and cell phone and social media can affect time together. The only time couples are together at home are mostly spent in front of TV, spent, accessing social media and all of that. And in most homes, TV has become another wife to some husbands, and has become another husband to some women. You understand? So takes them away from their spouses. It's TV takes you away from your wife. TV takes you away from your husband, and that becomes an issue. We're not talking in terms of when you watch. I know that men like football, and so during the World Cup and whatnot, or maybe national sports, you have to watch. Yeah, you enjoy yourself, you chill out with it. Some sit together and chill out with a movie. Maybe occasionally, those are not bad stuff. You used to distress yourself, that's fine. But when it becomes a habit, when you repetitively every day, you come back from work, you're in front of the telly, you eat, you put your legs up, then you're in front of the TV, watching TV until you're tired, you're dead. Some will even fall asleep whilst watching it, and then they get up and they're going, and so then you make your way home, to your bed. You've not spent time with your wife, so you left work, you came home, you ate, and then you watch TV and you went to bed. What time have you spent together? None. And that's the kind of things we're talking about, that's actually messing up homes and messing up relationships and messing up marriages. So we need to deal with it, such that it won't have to deal with us in a bad way. It wouldn't have to destroy our homes. It wouldn't have to destroy our marriages. So be careful how much time you spend in front of TV, so that you are able to spend that time. Switch it off. Like we said last week, you are the one in control. Be the one in control. Be the one in control. You're in control of that remote control. You're in control of that TV box. You're in control of what comes through into your living room. You're in control. You can switch it off. You can switch it on. It's within your control. The TV does not control you. The remote control does not control you. You be the one in control, and control your atmosphere, so that you can have an healthy marriage relationship, so that you can have a healthy home, a beautiful marriage, you can have a beautiful marriage, a beautiful environment to raise your children, a beautiful environment where you come into and you're happy, you're excited, a beautiful environment. Create it for your husband. I made up my mind, I'll create a beautiful environment for my husband. I'll create a beautiful environment for my children. You understand? I made up my mind. So make up your mind to create intentionally. Create a beautiful environment, for yourself. Don't let your environment be toxic again. It's not worth it. It's not. Toxicity in marriage is not where you're shouting, screaming, fighting. You had loggerhead with each other, and and you're not happy with this, happy with that. I'm keeping malice. It's not worth it, because you're not here in this world for eternity, Methuselah kind of thing. There's no one that lives the Methuselah age type anymore. At most by 120, everyone is gone now. You understand? If you're even blessed enough to make it to 90 or 100, you understand? Not everybody, people are living longer, don't get me wrong, but not everyone lives up to be 100. You understand? So 100 years is nothing. It's nothing compared to eternity, of course. So please, don't let television rob you of your time with your person. Somebody's wife was not well. They were not feeling well, and so they were taken to the hospital, and they thought it was appendicitis. I mean, I don't know what they thought it was. Anyhow, anyway, they got the person to the hospital, and she was on the hospital bed with the children, and then he, as a husband, went to get something. I can't remember what it was. Went to get something, and so he was gone for such a while. And by the time he got back, what happened? He met the bed. He met the bed empty, and they had changed the bed sheets, and the whole place. So he came back with his son-in-law, and the whole place was already cleaned up and everything. And so he got back to that ward where his wife was, and he was smelling something. So, what's smelling here? And then his son-in-law said, it smells like a dead, like some sort of deadness, like a dead body kind of smell. And so he started crying and weeping. I said, oh my God, oh no. They said, he thought the wife had died, and that they had packed the body and taken the body to the morgue, and that the body was already in the cold room in the mortuary, and that the children had gone there or whatever. And so he started crying and crying and said, oh my gosh. And then he started talking about how he didn't spend much time with his wife, and how he was guilty. He was always working. He was always not appreciating his wife. He was always treating her like she was going to be there forever. And he just hit the floor and hit the ground and started crying, weeping uncontrollably. And then the nurse came in, and so the son-in-law too started crying and said, oh my gosh, that his mother-in-law was dead. And then the nurse came into the ward and said, why are you guys crying? And they said, she's dead, isn't she? And of course, the good news was that, of course it was a comedy, but the good news was that the woman was not dead. In fact, they found that it wasn't even an infection. It was just stress, and that she needed to go home and rest. And so they discharged her. And so the children took her home, but obviously the husband was not there. I mean, imagine. But then the husband was already, a sweat of guilt upon him, and sweat of condemnation, because why? He was not, his regret was that he hadn't spent enough time with his wife, that he had taken his wife for granted, and that rather than spend quality time with her, he was always sort of arguing with her, telling her how not good a thing he has done and all she had done and all of that. And so so the lesson I'm trying to bring out to us here is, that spouse will not be there forever. You never can tell when they're going to make a way out of this, make an exit out of life. And so don't treat them like they're going to be there with you for life. People die anytime, and I'm not praying that for you, for your family or your household or your spouse or your husband or wife. I'm not praying a sudden death. I'm not praying a premature death. In fact, I speak over your life right now and decree and declare that you will not die prematurely. Your husband will not die prematurely. Your wife will not die prematurely. None of your children, and myself as well, none of our children, none of our spouses will die prematurely. In Jesus' name, there shall be no sudden death in our homes. In the name of Jesus, people will not gather to mourn with us. People will not gather to weep with us, in the precious name of Jesus. So that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying things happen, life happen. The person you think will be there with you for life may not be there for life and will not be there for life. You never can tell when they'll be gone. So spend that time today or now, not fighting them, but doing life in a way that they're your friends. In the friendship manner where they see you, they're happy. You see them, you are happy. Not that not vice versa. This one is running away from this one is are trying to avoid this one. Let's not get into that. Let's get into the into building healthy relationships where we love one another. You understand? So spend time. The enemies of time you want to eradicate. So TV is an enemy of time, and you understand, and you don't want to allow that small box that you can control to control you in return. So now that you have your spouse there, don't let that box be the one that is replacing them. Don't choose that box as your second wife or as your second husband. Don't choose that that social media. Don't choose that what do you call it? Don't choose that phone, the gadget to be your don't choose it to be your the one that is replacing your spouse. So please, let's be mindful of these things so that we can work on them, so that they don't come to rob us of our time. The TV, watching TV constantly cannot foster family intimacy. It can foster family intimacy, and you want to be able to foster family intimacy. So make sure that as you, and especially as you grow older, you understand, as you grow, that young couples, I really want to beg of you, listen, don't take things for granted. Don't think because that person is still there and they're going to be there for life. Or some people have this attitude of, oh, well, I'm married to them for life anyway. They can't do anything. Yeah, and I can do anything I like. You understand? Whether or not we tend to take people that familiarity. You understand? Because we see them often, and so we feel they're going to be there forever. Please. You understand? Well, I hope we've been a blessing to you. We're going to round it up next week. How we should invest in time into our marriage, So we've looked at the benefits of investing time into our marriage. We've looked at why it's so important, what it will do for us, and then we then started talking about the enemies of time. If we don't spend time, the enemy of what comes against us, some of the things that come against us and rob us of spending time with our loved ones. Some of those things we started talking about them. We said the types of work we do, or watching TV, and a lot of other things. So we're going to continue and finish it up next, so that we complete it. So please, and we're bringing these things our way so that we know that, listen, because these are things that I've learned in marriage, especially the things that affected me, that I feel that I need to teach it to other people. I needed to teach it to young couples, especially. When you do ministry, I'm being a pastor and a lot of other hats that I wear. Being in business and entrepreneur, it affects your home when you don't prioritize your life. When you spend time doing things that you're not so well, you don't let me say you're not supposed to do, but those things are taking the place, are replacing the time you're supposed to be spending with your family and your husband and your loved ones. You understand? So these are lessons I have learned and mistakes that I've made, and I don't want you to make such mistakes. So I hope that it's been a blessing to you, and we're going to continue next week. Now, we are very, very careful what we watch, what we do, and we don't allow things to affect our homes in ways that they've affected them in the past. So I pray that your home will stand, your marriage will stand, and that you'll be celebrating 50 years of being married to that person, 60, 70, 80 years of being married to them, and that you have a pleasant journey on this marital journey that we're talking about, and that your own journey will not be sorrowful, in the precious name of Jesus. God bless you, and do have a good day. Please, if it's been a blessing to you, please share it, share the video, send it around, and you can use it to be a blessing to your group, whatever group you're leading, maybe in church, in mosque, wherever you are. Write those things down and teach it to them. We have given it freely. Well, we're giving it to you. You don't need our permission to teach what we're teaching or use our materials. Use them, and let's together build awesome marriages and put the devil to shame. God bless you. Real good. Thank you. Look, we're here every Saturday and every Sunday. On Saturdays we do programs on parenting. We call it Parents Are Us, Parenting Without Tears. And then on Sundays we do ones on relationships and family life called Single and Sound, Married and Blessed. My name is Dr. Chris Ogedembe. Dr. Chris Ogedembe. So you can join us, go to our website. A lot of things that we do. There are a lot of other ministries that we a lot of other things we do that you're going to see on our website, chrisoge.org. You're going to see on our website. So join us and follow us on this journey as we make life, we just want to bless humanity, especially the family life. God bless you, and do have a good day. I love you. I appreciate you. Bye.